This is exactly why we support this club, right? This is why. Games like this, moments like this, you don't get them elsewhere. You can only get them from a Manchester United shirt. I'm still buzzing from that win. Like, it was, I cannot explain the feeling. That late goal, first off, Fulham equalizing. What were we doing? What were we doing letting Fulham back into that game? But for credit to the players for the ability to push on and go on to get the win. You know, like there were times when Fulham would come back. We've watched Manchester United games, and in a game like that, Fulham will come back, and a lot of us will be like, okay, Fulham is going to go on and win this one. But guess what? We've done it twice. In fact, we've done it several times this season. And I know that all of us, we criticize Amorim and all of that, but we can go back and say that part of this mentality comes from from Amorim. He kind of instilled part of this mentality in the players. And we see it time and time again. Against Arsenal, they got the equalizer, and less than 2 minutes later, we went on to get the win. Today, same thing against Fulham. Few minutes later, we went on to get the win. Fantastic game today from the boys. But that Casemiro opener, Casemiro goal for the opener, he's now scored 5 goals. This is now his best scoring season. Can we just say Casemiro is the best defensive midfielder in the Prem? I don't care what anybody wants to say. I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't care if you can say Rodri, you can say Zubimendi, you can say whoever you want to say. I really don't care. For me, Casemiro is the best defensive midfielder in the Prem right now. Considering his age, considering what he's done, considering what he still continues to do, I consider him the best defensive midfielder. And if you don't agree, you can argue with your keyboard. I'm not going to respond to that. If you don't agree, you can argue with your keyboard. And this just makes me wonder why Manchester United did not just renew his contract on a lower wage. I don't know if it's because he demanded something higher and we couldn't afford it, or they just don't want to keep him, because he would be a great player to have in the squad. To be honest, he would be a great player to have in and around the squad. He's going to help the young players. He can even come in like as a sub. Instead of us subbing him off, we can sub him on when we have tired legs on the field. He can come in with his experience. If you need a late goal, he's someone you can throw on and, try to put in some set pieces in the box and see if he can get on the end of it, in my opinion. And with the game today, one of the reasons why Fulham were able to come back into the game was the fact that we subbed off Casemiro. We've said this time and time again. When we sub off Casemiro, our game drops in midfield. It does drop. And today again was another evidence of what we say every day, what we come here to say every day. When he gets subbed off, our game dropped. Ugarte came on. There was so much space to play the ball in behind. So much space. I don't know if it's because Ugarte leaves a lot of spaces, or because when Casemiro is on the field, he tells people where to be and when to be, like he communicates. I don't get it. But whenever Ugarte is on the field, there is just so much space to play the ball in behind. 2 balls. And guess what? It could have been 3, because the first one for the ball that was crossed over top, we can kind of blame Dalot for that one too. But the fact remains that whenever Ugarte is on the field instead of Casemiro, we concede a lot. We tend to concede a lot. There tend to be a lot more spaces in behind to play the ball, and that's something that needs to be addressed. And it leads me to the next question. Why is it that we're in the January transfer window and we're not making any moves in the midfield? We know for a fact that is where we have our biggest problem. The attack was part of our problem last season. That has been sorted out. I think the defense as well is fine. But in midfield is where we continue to have problems. Why don't we go out there and bring someone in? Why? So we can push on and get top 4. We almost dropped points today, valuable points, with Aston Villa losing their game. Imagine if we dropped 2 points. Now we would have found ourselves behind Liverpool, we would have found ourselves behind Chelsea, and certainly we would have found ourselves 7 points behind Aston Villa instead of 5. The board needs to do something. In fact, I don't know what I'm saying because the transfer window is already closed. They need to do something. But another player I'm going to talk about is Cunha. Cunha, right? He's now scored in he now scored 2 goals and assisted in the last 3 games. So that's 3 goal contributions in the last 3 games. That is the player we got from Wolves. That exactly is the player we got from Wolves. He's doing a fantastic job. That goal today, there were a lot of times when our attackers last season, they would get in positions like that, but it would side netting. He gave the goalkeeper no chance of saving that. And it's just what I love to see. That's our whole attack right now is clicking. Sesko is scoring goals. Cunha is scoring goals. mbeumo is scoring goals. Lamens is doing the job as well in goal. So I think we went 4/4 in the last transfer window. We went 4/4 with the players that we brought in. Everyone is doing their job and they are doing it perfectly. For the penalty, I think if Harry Maguire didn't launch in, Sesko would have had that covered. And if we did not concede that penalty, I believe we would have kept a clean sheet. So Lamens is doing his job. I just think the defense has to step up, and the midfield, because that is where the main issue comes from. When the midfield is exposed, the defense is exposed. So the sub did not help. That substitution of bringing on Ugarte for Casemiro, it really did not help. And I think that is why because we were 2-0 up. We were 2-0 up, and Carrick was hoping that Ugarte could come on and keep things tight. But it just doesn't work. That's why Casemiro ended up playing 90 minutes against Arsenal last week. Because even Carrick knows that when Ugarte is on the field, we concede a lot. Carrick knows he is not good enough. That's why Casemiro played 90 minutes last week, because it was a crucial game. But we were 2-0 up today, and Carrick thought, okay, let me give Casemiro a rest. Sorry, I was about to silence my phone. Let me give Casemiro a rest, because he's played 90 minutes last week, and him playing 90 minutes again this week, he's going to get tired. And it's also an opportunity for Ugarte to get some game time. But no, Ugarte just came on and the game opened up. We need a midfielder. But that's 3 games now won in a row. You know, maybe we can start prepping the Clippers. 2 more to go. We have a game against Tottenham next week. They are bad at Old Trafford. Next week we have a game against Tottenham. If we can beat Tottenham, I believe we can beat West Ham too. West Ham has been picking up some form recently, but we can beat them. Chelsea came back against them from 2-0 down to 3-2. We go to West Ham and we beat them. We make that 5 in a row and get this thing of Manchester United cannot win 5 games in a row out of we get it out of the road. And when that day comes, all our haters, turn off your phones and get off social media. Turn off your phones and get off social media, because it is going to be a funeral. It is going to be a funeral, and it's going to be your funeral. But good game today from the lads. I enjoyed it. We have to avoid this Fergie time thing. We have to do as much as possible to avoid this Fergie time thing. Last week against Arsenal, same thing. Today again, against Fulham, we had to do the same thing. We cannot keep on banking on the fact that we're going to get Fergie time. No. But good game from the lads. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And if this is your first time here, please subscribe.